Hi, how y'all doing? It is Sunday, February 23rd, about 8 p.m. as of recording this video. This is going to be the first of 3 updated recap videos to primarily give newer viewers, subscribers, a better understanding of what's going on with me, why I have my channel, why I have the GoFundMe, and what my immediate needs are. I'm probably not going to be able to answer everything in these 3 videos. There is a lot that goes into why I'm here. There is an awful lot of detail and backstory, yada yada yada. And I don't mind answering questions in the comments if I need to make another video on a specific topic after these 3 videos. I can do that. These videos that I'm making now are just to try to make it so that newer viewers don't have to go back through the 70 plus videos I've got on my channel now, and you know, so y'all can understand what's going on. This is a TLDR recap, if you will. I want to first apologize. I'm in the dark. I get a lot of comments about that because most of my videos are like this. I end up making most of my videos in the evenings, and I generally keep the lights off. Electricity is expensive. I sit in my wheelchair in front of my stove with the light on above my stove to light my face up enough for you to be able to see me. You're not missing much. Don't worry about that. You can probably just set it off to the side and listen to it if you will. It's nothing you need to worry about watching. I'm not going to be getting up and doing any dance routines for y'all. So I have my YouTube channel here, and my YouTube channel is expressly about my GoFundMe campaign and bringing attention to my GoFundMe campaign and hopefully bringing support to it. I want to also first say I hate doing this. I hate having a GoFundMe. I hate asking people for help. I'm in a situation where I don't have any other options. I haven't found any other recourse. My life has become a perfect storm of Murphy's Law. What can go wrong will go wrong, and it has done, especially over the last 10 plus years. So pardon me, I'm also on the tail end of a very bad cold. I'm 41 years old. I live in St. Augustine, Florida. I'm divorced. I have an absolutely wonderful little boy, 7-year-old son. And I am struggling mightily to make it I have a laundry list of very severe health conditions. Probably the worst and the root of it all. I have stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma. It is in remission as far as I know. I don't know for sure what it's doing. I am and have been for a while unable to go back to my old oncologist at Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville, Florida, due to several reasons. Most important now is Mayo Clinic does not take my health insurance. So I couldn't go back there, if I wanted to, and I didn't have any other reasons not to. Unable to. I was diagnosed with stage 2 Hodgkin's lymphoma in the beginning of 2014, about February of 2014. And I ended up spending all of 14 fighting it. I did 3 months of ABVD chemotherapy cocktail, extremely toxic, especially cardiotoxic. And then throughout the month of August in 2014, I did 30 days of proton radiation. It was kind of the new thing back then. We only had 3 facilities here in the country at the time that offered it. One was Shands North Jacksonville campus. So I had the benefit of Mayo Clinic and the proton clinic at Shands. And proton radiation is generally harder on the cancer and easier on the patient versus the traditional photon radiation, because it is very targeted. The difference between the two is proton radiation is like a targeted laser beam, where photon radiation is more like a hand grenade. With photon radiation, pretty much your whole body's getting it, and it's just blasting all the way through you. Proton radiation, they can target it to where your tumors are. Unfortunately for me, my tumors were center mass in my chest, so my heart took a large brunt of that radiation. I was still declared technically in remission by the end of 2014, and went into recovery mode, trying to adapt to what they said would have to be my new normal, that my life would not be like it was before the chemotherapy and radiation. And over the next couple of years, I had some I had some random heart issues and issues with my lungs. In 2016, I had a pulmonary embolism, which took me out of work for like 3 months. And then in early 2017, my cancer had full-on come back. It had metastasized to my lungs, and so it had jumped the tissue barrier and was now stage 4. So I had stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma, and we found it like 4 or 5 months before my son was due to be born. And he was my first and only child. I worked all through the chemotherapy and radiation. The first time around back in 2014, I would take a day off for the chemotherapy because I would have to go and get plugged up in a chair for like 2.5, 3 hours and get pumped full of this toxic poison. And then I would pretty much go back to the house and die for the rest of the day. But then I would get up 4:30, 5 o'clock the next morning and get dressed and go to work. I was doing commercial pest control at the time for Terminex Pest Control. And it was a very good job, and no, I don't believe, nor do my doctors, that the chemicals I was working with had any rhyme or reason to the cancer. Cancer actually runs in my family, especially on my dad's side. I kind of expected I would get it. I never expected that I would get it so early. You know, I was 31 years old, and it hit me like a truck. But I would go do my job. You know, I was doing commercial pest control, so I wasn't doing, houses. I was doing businesses, office fronts, schools, factories, warehouses, retail stores, apartment complexes, condos, hotels, state parks, anything and everything that basically wasn't private housing except for apartments, is what I did. And it was a good job, it was good work, and the chemicals we used were not very highly toxic to begin with, and I was always very careful with them. Followed all my PPE and whatnot. I didn't handle anything, didn't breathe anything in. I think it was more or less just a happy little coincidence that I was diagnosed with cancer like 6 months after I started working for this place. And my doctors said that it was likely active and brewing for probably about a year, according to how they found it, the way they found it, what they found. So I did that, and then when it came time to do the radiation, at the time I was living in East Palatka, Florida, which is about 25 minutes, give or take, southwest of St. Augustine. And so when it was time to do radiation, I would get up, in the mornings and put on my uniform, except my button-down shirt. I just have my under t-shirt, and I would get up again for 4:30, drive to Jacksonville so I could be on the north side of Jacksonville 5:30, 5:45, and I would go and get these 40-minute photon treatments, which was nowhere near as bad as the chemotherapy. When I got done with the chemotherapy, I felt like hell. The photon treatment, I felt for like the first, week or so, I didn't really feel anything. I would have the treatments, and then I'd go out to my truck, put on my button-down shirt for my uniform and go off on about my job. And then probably about halfway through, I started feeling down, like it was wearing me down. It got a little rough there towards the end, and there were a couple of days where I had to just call my boss and say, I can't do it today. I'm shot to hell. And my immediate supervisor and branch manager, the company as a whole was really good to me. They took good care of me, and they stood by me. They could have kicked me to the side, but they didn't do that. So I was, I put in the work. But when the cancer came back in 2017 at stage 4, doc said, you're not going to be able to work through this again. The cancer is much more aggressive, so the treatment's going to have to be much more aggressive. So I had to, quit work in 2017. I didn't like it. I wasn't happy about it. I'm an old-fashioned Southern gentleman. I don't believe in not earning my way or contributing at least. And so that was tough. But my wife was a pharmacist and paid very well, so it wasn't financially difficult for us for me to quit work. It didn't really make a difference. So I shifted gears and I became, Johnny Homemaker, Mr. Mom when our son was born. We generally tried to divide, household chores, responsibilities at home when we were both working, but I wasn't working, so I took on everything and tried to keep up with everything by myself. It was hard, and I wasn't always able to do it, but I tried. After she went back to work from maternity leave, we had a new baby, and I took care of him and raised him for the most part until he was about 4 years old during the day, because she worked about 45 minutes away, and she worked 8, 9, sometimes 10-hour days, depending on what was going on. So for the next 4 years, that's what I did. I took care of the house, took care of the kid, and got my chemotherapy. My parents would come over from the next county over and stay with my son. My mom would watch my son, and my dad would usually go with me to Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville, because when I was doing straight chemotherapy, I couldn't drive home. So I did straight chemotherapy from 2017 to 2019. And in 2019, I switched to immunotherapy. Excuse me. And immunotherapy was much better than the chemotherapy. It didn't wear me down or make me feel sick like the chemotherapy did. So I continued to do immunotherapy from 2019 to 2021. June of 2021, right before my birthday, we stopped doing the immunotherapy because I was having consistently worsening issues with my heart. And we ended up discovering that I had a bunch of fluid on my heart and lungs, and a bunch of other issues with my heart. So I stayed at Mayo Clinic in the hospital for 3 days while they drained the fluid off my heart and lungs. And then went through a bunch of tests, and we determined that I had severe coronary artery disease, which pissed me off because I didn't even get to enjoy all the fried chicken and fried fish that it should have taken to get it. I'm a big old country boy, and I enjoyed some fried chicken, some fried fish every now and again, but I try to take care of myself, eat healthy. I did have diabetes, so I tried to take care of myself. So I was kind of pissed about that. The severe cardiomyopathy, which is scarring of the heart muscle, And that is so bad that the bottom end of my heart is basically dead. It's atrophied. It doesn't function anymore. And I also have congestive heart failure. They were showing my cancer as completely in remission at the time, and I had the cardio team at Mayo wanting to do open heart surgery and do a bypass, double bypass. And as I was, grappling with all of this, trying to process all of this, deal with all of this, my beautiful wife decided that she was done. She was ready to get off the ride. She wanted a divorce. And that, that hit me like a freight train from behind. I didn't expect that. I didn't have any idea anything like that was coming. We had our problems, every couple does, but they were never anything that I thought, would have been divorce worthy. We had been through a lot together, and we were good together. But she was done. That threw a whole new wrench into things. I was on her health insurance, and she was divorcing me. There was no way I could even think about going through open heart surgery and trying to navigate this divorce. I love this woman more than life itself. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't understand what was happening. And I didn't know how I would move forward alone. My son was barely 4 years old. We were a family. We had a family. I didn't understand this. I didn't. I couldn't wrap my head around it. There's still days where I don't really understand it. But I had to deal with that. I couldn't try to face this divorce and deal with open heart surgery and all that entailed. And my now ex-wife was not waiting. There was no, well, let me get through the surgery first and then we'll work it out, She was done, and she was done now. So I had to completely shift gears away from my health and focus on the divorce. And it was tough. God, it was tough. And it was worse, It was so much worse on our son. He didn't understand. He didn't know what was going on. We fought sometimes, but never too bad. Never, it never got physical. I mean, she tried to get physical, take it to physical violence like 3 times during our relationship. But that was not something that I could ever do. So he didn't have any reason for us separating. So it was incredibly hard on me, and it was 10 times harder on him. I'm going to stop this video here because my phone camera, for whatever reason, even with an SD card, cuts off my videos a little bit into 26 minutes. just automatically it cuts off the video. So that's why this is going to be like a 3-part set in order for me to explain everything. So this will be part 1, and stay tuned for part 2.